Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel Climbinator 1978 or 1978, whichever way you want to pronounce it. Today I'm finally getting round to my review of the recently released Scream 6. Now this review will contain spoilers for the film. Because the film has been released now for only 2 weeks, so yeah, pretty much everyone's been to see it. So yeah, make of that what you will. Basically, if you haven't been to see it, then what the hell are you doing watching this review? Get yourselves down to your cinema now and go and see it. Okay? Anyway, on to Scream 6. Spoilers alert. So, as I said, spoilers in this review, yeah? This is a game changer for the franchise. Now, I've been a fan of the Scream films since the early 2000s. In that I followed the hype to some degree, although I didn't actually watch them until about 2003, 2004 time, when I was actually old enough to watch them. Yeah, I came from that kind of family. But yeah, the thing is, in all the other Scream films, except for Scream 3, the finale of the films always revealed to have 2 killers in them. 2 killers. Scream 3 is debatable. Most people think it has 1 killer, but there's been theories that there could have been 2, and I actually think there are 2. But that's a topic for another discussion. Where Scream 6 is a game changer is that there are more than 2 killers in this film. There are more than 2 ghost faces in this film. Yeah, you heard me right. There are 6. I know a lot of people saying, oh, there's 3 ghost faces in this one. No, you break it down, there are actually 6. Now, there's the 2 wannabe ghost faces at the beginning of the film. They get killed off after the opening murder. One gets killed off outside the events of the film. So basically we don't even get to meet this character. But the other one commits their murder and then gets killed off by the real ghost face of the film. And I remember when I saw this on my first viewing, I thought, right, Ghostface has just killed this woman, played by Samara Weaving from Ready or Not. Another great film, I suggest checking it out. And as soon as he killed her, he said, "Now I see red." Kneels down in front of her and takes his mask off. And I remember thinking, what the bonkers? That usually happens at the end of a film. Are we going to have a film where we follow it from the perspective of Ghostface? That could be interesting. I personally wouldn't like that, but But it could be interesting to see, you know. The thing is, that doesn't happen. Because that geezer goes back home to his apartment. He even walks by Tara, one of the leading characters of this new storyline. And he goes back to his apartment, and you see that he's a stab fanatic. And of course, he gets a phone call, and he thinks that it's his mate calling him, but it's the real Ghostface. And I remember just getting tingles down my back, hearing that voice all over again. And I remember thinking, oh my God, this is just great. When Ghostface actually says, "Who gives a fuck about the movies?" I thought, this is a whole different angle to Ghostface. He's actually someone who doesn't care about horror films. This is a vigilante. You know, that's actually a great idea. Perhaps maybe it's a relative of one of the victims in one of the previous films, you know, coming back with a vengeance or something. Anyway, after that we meet our characters, our survivors from the previous film, Sam, Tara, Chad and Mindy. And we meet some new characters. Now, I'm struggling a bit with their names, but then that's what happens when you get to my age. I think one of them's called Quinn and the other one's called Ethan. Quinn's hot, by the way. She's nice. Yeah. Anyway, I'm getting a bit sidetracked. I mean the actress who plays Quinn. She's hot, yeah, the actress. Anyway. Yeah, you meet them. And then you meet Annika. Annika, that's it, her name. And she actually has a great scene halfway through the film involving a ladder. Yeah. Probably my favourite kill in the whole franchise. Oh yeah. This Ghostface, I don't know why people are moaning about Ghostface in this film. I can get to some degree why they have been moaning about the reveal. But when they say, oh, Ghostface is the worst in this film, Ghostface is the worst in the franchise. No. Watch Charlie Walker in Scream 4. Yeah, he was brutal. But his whole motive relied on him trying to get it off with Jill Roberts. Seriously. Charlie Walker becomes a serial killer just because he wants to get it off with Jill Roberts. No, I just cannot believe someone would be so easily manipulated, even at that young age. Nope. There are so many better motives they could have used, like he could have become so obsessed with horror movies that he felt immune to laws in the real world. You know, like as if he absolved himself from the reality of the real world. Something like that. Or maybe he had parents who neglected him in a similar way to how Jill's mum neglected her. But that's me going on about Scream 4. And I love Scream 4. But Charlie Walker is the worst Scream killer. Anyway, yeah, back to Scream 6 again. I don't think the ghost faces in this film are terrible. Although I do question the performance of one of them after the reveal. Yep. Yeah, when Dermot Mulroney, up to the reveal point, he's great. He is fantastic. But when he is revealed to be the main Ghostface, I'm sorry, but he just becomes too cartoony. I'm expecting him to throw boxes of Acme dynamite at his victims in the film. I'm like, nah, I'm sorry, I just don't find you intimidating. I find you too cartoony in this. The other two I actually find reasonably intimidating. Because I genuinely believe they could be nut jobs chasing after people with a knife or a gun. But that's me, that's my view. You know, that's my view, that I could believe they could be people who would do that in the events of the Scream universe. Anyway, we follow Sam and Tara as they are trying to adapt to what has happened to them a year later. Tara is in denial about the events of the past year, whereas Sam is trying to accept it despite having growing mental health problems. However, despite having counselling sessions, her mental health condition is deteriorating. And what's making it worse is that someone has set up a conspiracy theory that Sam may have been responsible for the Ghostface killings in Scream 5 and stitched up her boyfriend. Yeah. I can just point out a couple of the things that are so wrong with that theory and would make people look total dumbasses if these chain of events were happening in the real world. 1. You got the legacy characters there in the finale, right beside Sam as witnesses, seeing what's happening and experiencing it. Two, oh boy. Sam would not be able, she wouldn't have a mental state, right? No, I'll scratch that, I'll start again with 2. The legacy characters had witnessed everything besides Sam, and they experienced everything with Sam in that finale of Scream 5. 2. When it comes to stitching her boyfriend up, don't you think there would be some video footage of it? Like, because he was quite a gadget-minded person, don't you think he'd be the sort of bloke taking selfies and all that kind of shit? Yeah? Saying, don't you think there'd have been footage of him going, no, Sam, no, don't do this, don't do that? Yeah, he did not do that one bit in that finale. Plus, there's also all the police investigators and all that would do a proper, thorough investigation or something like the rampage and all that, especially as two of the victims were two of their own people. But that's Scream 5 and Scream 6's illogicalities. So personally, I don't think people would fall for that conspiracy theory quite as much as it's portrayed in Scream 6. Another thing, it's a little bit coincidental that the one who starts the conspiracy theory turns out to be one of the main ghost faces and also Sam's roommate. Or housemate, I should say. Housemate. Which is Quinn. And then it comes to Quinn's death. Oh boy. Now, if you got pissed off with Roman's death in Scream 3, his fake death, you're going to be peeved off with Quinn's fake death here. Because Quinn dies halfway through Scream 6. Then, in the finale, she's revealed to be one of the ghost faces. Her father is the police detective, and he reveals how they got around it. And that is, he switched Quinn's body. Well, he switched a body over with Quinn, and it happened to be a body that looked so much like Quinn, yeah, that her friends who discovered the body, yeah, actually fell for it. Every one of them. Oh boy. See, if it wasn't for illogicalities like that, I would give this film a 10 out of 10. Instead, I'm giving it an 8 out of 10, and it is worthy of watching twice, maybe even 3 times. But it's just not as good as the original. The original was so fresh, I would imagine, for the time. They didn't need to do the fake death of Quinn or any character. If they'd left that bit out, then that reveal at the end would be such a knockout punch. Because the beginning is amazing. The reveal at the end, whilst it has flaws, it's still a refreshing change. Because it was great to have 3 killers on screen all at once. And people have said, yeah, but it's too much going on all at once. Sorry, you're forgetting the fact that there's, you're talking about a film where a psychopath or a couple of psychopaths in each instalment go around chasing after a bunch of innocent people in separate locations of one area. I mean, look at Scream 2, right? Scream 2 had all of its finale taking place in a theatre. You had two psychopaths chasing after the victims, and that's a tremendous finale there. It's powerful and emotionally driven. But again, two psychos chasing after victims. And it's a lot to take on. Scream 3 really isn't that much different. Yeah, it's more head-on and adrenaline-fueled and more chaotic, but it's fun at the same time. It is fun. And I will say that the movie doesn't slow down. It doesn't slow down, but it's not like Scream 5 where it was like chop, 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 beat for beat. There are moments where there's lots of suspense and the film is gorier. There's lots of shots where Ghostface has stabbed someone in the abdomen or whatever, and whilst the knife is in them, he twists the knife. So overall, Scream 6, a rollicking good ride. Be prepared for some plot holes. And as I said, Sam and Tara are having their mental health issues. Tara is in denial about everything, but she learns to begin to accept who she is by the end. Sam starts off, I wouldn't like to say in a more positive place, but in a more accepting place, where she's beginning to accept her life won't be like her sister's. But by the end of the film, due to certain events in the film and Scream 5, there's some seeds that are planted for a possible Scream 7. Oh yeah. The cards are on the table. Kirby makes a good return. I would say it seems like a bit of a leap to see her go from being a high school student or college student to just suddenly being an FBI agent. I thought, yeah, a bit of a leap, but I'll take it. But Hayden Panettiere, or is it Panettiere? Hayden Panettiere, she is great in this film. She is great. She delivers her lines with such perfection, and she has, I will say, as much of a presence as Neve Campbell. And whilst I miss Neve Campbell, and there are a couple of references to Sydney, the thing is, I would love it if Neve Campbell came back for one last film as a big hurrah, a big wonderful hurrah, because like everyone else, I don't want Sydney to outstay her welcome. You know, I don't want her to, you know, basically become such an unbeliever. You know, I don't want her to take on so many serial killers in this franchise that she just becomes an unbelievable character. I want her to come back, if she is coming back, that is. I want it to be that it's a wonderful swan song for her character. Give her that happy ending she deserves. Similar to Jamie Lee Curtis in Halloween Ends, although that film sucked, in my opinion. But the ending to that is what Sydney needs. However, if she doesn't return, I would say Kirby is a good stand-in. Not a replacement, but a good stand-in. Same as Gale. But I think it's time that we focus on the new cast to some degree as well. And with Scream 7 hopefully being in the pipeline, I hope that everything that worked well in Scream 5 and 6 gets improved upon. And when it comes to the flaws in those films, I hope that they definitely get worked upon. Overall, Scream 6 is a rollicking good ride. I suggest going to see it on the big screen because that's where you get the best experience. It gets the Highway to Heaven ranking.